Hello, people. My name is Gonzalo, and this will be the first time where I'm going to be doing content like this for YouTube. I've been playing guitar for only 2 years, uh, and I had this feeling, this struggle when I was learning that I'm a self-taught. I took lessons for 2 months, but it didn't work out, and it didn't work out for the same reason that that I'm doing this video. So I was a self-taught student, and I watched a lot of YouTube videos. And the thing about the teachers on the YouTube videos is that they have 10 to 15 to 20 years experience playing the guitar, and they can't really connect with us beginners, so they don't really understand the struggles that we have, because first of all, they started doing this as children. Like when you're children, everything is super flexible. You don't feel as much pain. The pain receptors are not so well developed. And I had this struggle, and I found that I'm not the only one. A lot of people have this struggle, that the content there is on YouTube, it's like only for intermediate guitar players. Like they can't really come across. There's one guy that can kind of come across, which is just in guitar, because he learned how to play left-handed, so he could relate more to his students. But I found the idea that, me being 2 years in, and according to some YouTuber guitarists, I'm still in the beginning phase, because I don't use bar chords, or because I don't play scales around the neck, which for me is like you don't have to, like, there is no obligation. My teacher, I'm gonna try to explain you my situation when I start learning. So my teacher was always trying to get me to do scales, and I wanted to do chords. I had huge fingernails. I always had huge fingernails. My hands are big. My fingertips are big. I always had these big nails, and it wasn't good to play. My teacher, I don't know why he could not see that. So I had a lot of struggle into making sound a chord, clean chord. It was horrible. It was super hard. I'm just gonna turn up the volume of the guitar a little bit. It was super hard, and it really frustrated me for a long time, and it even frustrated me enough that my teacher could not see what the problem was. Long story short, I gave up on teaching, and I almost gave up on playing the guitar, until one day I was so mad at myself that I threw the guitar away, and I wanted to smash the guitar and kick it, and tears started coming to my eyes, and I started searching on YouTube and Google medical procedures to like shorten the fingertips or something, like wild shit. And I got so mad that I grabbed my nail cutter and I don't know the name of this in English, and I just smashed my nails until it started hurting. After that, and this was about 6 months after I started learning guitar, for the first time I could make the E minor chord, and I was so happy, and my mind was like, it's on now, it's on. And I powered through, and 3 years later, and I'm in a very good place, I believe, being a guitarist. But my point is that maybe it will be more relatable to a beginner to have someone who is still a beginner to tell him how to maybe do some, and like show some techniques that helped me, and that now I see that I should have done, and my teacher should have taught me those things at the beginning. So the first tip that I'm gonna give you, and this should be written in the books, it's fucking cut your fingernails. Like, cut them off. Try as much as you can to expose the meat of your finger. and that will be a good thing. So now I want to pass to the spider exercises. Spider exercises can be boring, and for me they were super boring. So for 2 years, I'm not gonna do them. And if you don't know what the spider exercise is, it's just and you then go up. And when I was taking lessons, obviously in those 2 months, obviously my teacher was telling me to do the spider exercises, and I was asking if the technique was okay, because the string that I was playing was sounding, but I knew that if I wanted to play something else, it would and I couldn't if I wanted to play another string. And when I first started, I was learning Johnny Cash lines, and some lines you had to go to the string below, and I could not go to the string below. So one thing that I really, really advise you to do in these first stages is I'm sorry for the placement of the guitar, but you play the top string, the low E string, and then you also play the A string, and you do this on the floor. And for the first exercise, you can lift all your fingers instead of no, you do the pinky finger is the really, really, really hard one, and you gotta work that out in the beginning. I believe that this is way more important than to try to learn scales. Forget about scales. If you pick the guitar just to solo, that's no good. I'd rather have you pick up the guitar to first learn the chords, and after that you maybe try to flat pick the chords, and by flat picking the chords you'll start to developing a notion of scales. Because if we're learning acoustic guitar, I don't want to be playing solos all the time. I want to go around the campfire with my friends, and I want to play some chords. So that exercise of the spider with the playing the top low, the low E string and the A string, what we'll do is it will teach your fingers how to bend, because for a long time I was playing without bending. And for example, when I started picking, finger picking actually, the G chord, I couldn't sound I couldn't sound the B note. It was always like this, because I wasn't using my fingertips right. That's something that as a beginner you should work, because in just 1 week, if you do that in just 1 week, I promise you will be able to strum a chord without muting strings. And I didn't see anybody on YouTube teaching this, which for me is absolutely crazy, and it's something that I noticed myself, why am I muting the strings? Why is my position, why my fingers are so straight? So that's what you do. And then the hardest part is not lifting your fingers, so you do this is the max, after maybe a week or 2 weeks you should be able to do this. I'm not, because I just developed this technique last week. But and you keep the pinky is always super hard, but then you go to the lower strings. There it is. The pinky is super hard. Another thing that I want for you to know is that if you're starting out and someone tells you to buy a cheap guitar, don't do it, and don't buy a $200 guitar. No, those are so hard to play. This guitar is a Guild one, a jumbo guitar. It's pretty big, and it's a $900 guitar. I don't mean that you have to buy a $900 guitar, but the difference, I had another Fender which was 600 that I broke. The difference between the 200 and the 600 was huge, but the difference between the $600 guitar and the $900 guitar was like divine. It was really really big, and it's very important. Like this guitar, I can it's so hard to develop calluses because it's so comfortable to play. I've been playing for a long time and I still don't have a full developed calluses. Where with a $200 guitar, my calluses would be immediately developed and in the wrong places. That's another thing. Like the callus would develop in the wrong place. So my advice to you is like, don't buy cheap guitar. No matter what. Like my teacher would show his $75 guitar and they're like, look at this. This is such a great guitar. Like, dude. You're a fucking teacher. Your job is to make your students better than you. You know, not try to get them stay at the lower basis. But yeah, this is basically what I wanted to tell because I thought it would be a good idea for some beginners. You know, like those guys that have 20 years of experience. They learned as a child. Their hands work differently than us. By the way, I started playing, I'm 25 now, I started playing in 23, and that's, to me it was super discouraging because I thought it was such a late age, but don't let that get in your way, you know. 2 years in and I'm kind of proud. I already have a 9-song repertoire that I keep always here, and you know, I have this thing that a 6-month goal, which is be able to play a 40-minute show and sing at the same time. Another advice that I'm gonna give you because I started singing while playing instantly when I started learning. Like, do that. That's a skill that you want to master earlier, and it's so good. I'm probably will play badly, but I just gonna show you. So I used to wake and run with the moon. I lived like a rake in a young man. I covered my lovers with flowers and wounds. Well, after the devil was frightened, but the sun, she would come and bring me back down. But every cruel day at its nightfall, I welcome the stars with wine and guitars, full of fire and forgetful. You get the idea. Do that. In the long run, it will be great, and people will be super impressed. Like, because for normal people, it's so hard to learn the guitar, and when you start singing. And you say, oh, I've been playing for 1 year and you're already singing a full song. They just go, wow. So yeah, that's basically it. I hope it helps. I don't usually do this kind of content for YouTube, so probably this will be super like lazy or like, you know, there no editing, no nothing, just a straight video, but I hope it helps. So cheers.